all the way back, baby.
Yeah, and if we say book your hotel, you book your hotel. But my lord, I have soiled myself.
You mean by live? Genuine live?
Yes.
Hello, radio!
And now, another episode of The Way We HNC. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of The Way We HNC It. It was quite the weekend for those who were in Ravenscraig. Flagging Ironman has come to a close once again for the 2025 season. The dates for 2026 are already in the books. My name is Bez. I'm your host. It is a pleasure to be back spending some time with you, and I am joined once again by our newest host, Cammy.
Oh, how are we doing, Bez?
Hello. I'm very well, sir. How are you? Are you all recovered from the weekend? Feeling good?
Surprisingly so. I woke up on Sunday absolutely dead, as you can imagine. I'm not sure if that was from the pub on Saturday night or the playing on Saturday, but by Monday I was absolutely fine, feeling good.
Good. Yeah, another spectacular weekend. It's always it's one of my favorite tournaments. Yes, today we are going to dedicate pretty much the entire show to a combination of talking through what went on at Flag and Ironman before moving on to the final weekend of Women's Flag Football League action. And boy, oh boy, is it set up deliciously.
How long have you spent working out the clinching scenarios?
All I am saying is let the schedule makers cook, because it has delivered, frankly, a fantastic finale. The clinching scenarios, yes, we'll get to them later on. The blog is ready to be posted and will probably be out by the time that this airs. So if you want to read it yourself, you can. But yes, myself and Andy Taylor from Inside Britball have spent the last few days finalising all of our notes and checking off each other's working. So yeah, later on we'll get to that. There is
Beautiful.
the Uber scenario that we will discuss it will be probably the last one we discuss, but it's the flow chart of dreams.
This is going to be a surprise to me as well. You've not shown me them yet.
So I have deliberately kept them from all of you. Tree is not with us this evening, unfortunately, but he will be back next week, I'm sure. So hopefully he's feeling good and in the zone. And Ironman first kickoff, 8:15 Saturday morning, 8:15 a.m. Final kickoff 8:20 with a
kept to schedule.
It was pretty good though.
After flagging New Year, I was very surprised. Like, a lot of people were coming to me being like, "Is it going to stay on schedule?" And I'm like, I don't know. Like, they stopped selling alcohol in shops at 10 o'clock in Scotland, so I hope so.
Got places to be, things to do. And yeah, so it did. It stayed on schedule the whole way. The final finished just about as Greg and I got back to the Highlands. But yes, okay, it was one of those. Team vibes did exactly what we set out to do over the course of the day. Yeah, it's a long day, and yeah, we didn't book any Saturday night accommodation, so we were committed regardless.
Yeah, it was. I would only feel sorry for you if you managed to squeak your way through a playoff run or a knockout run there, and then had to stay for the trophy presentation and make your way back up north from there.
I'm not. Yeah, we stopped off in Starbucks in Perth at the drive-through. I'm not. Well, we walked in, but they do have a drive-through. But and I'm not entirely sure what the staff thought when these two, otherwise like kind of healthy-looking dudes, were up to when we hobbled in after sitting down for a couple of hours to get back up to Perth.
always the case. I remember coming home from finals 2023 after a rather grueling loss. Sorry, 2022. Rather dazed, rather confused, eye black on. Poor McDonald's staff in the north of England just seen me limping through with eye black on, still got half a Hornets uniform on, no idea what day it is. Yeah, I'm well aware of the situation you were in.
Yeah, it's good. But it was a good day. It was worth it. Next time I do a draw, I'm going to make sure that I'm somehow able to keep myself out of Group A. I have decided that Group C is the one you want at Flying Ironman.
I can confirm it was a fun day, but it was a fun group stage in Group C.
Oh no, it can't have been Group C then, because oh no, it would have been Group C previously. I think now you want Group D, because Group D or B basically is your only way, because Group D referee Group B. So it used to be obviously you would stay on. So you wanted Group C because Group D always has a referee Group A, so they had to get there super early anyway. And you wanted Group C because then you were the last ones in the morning. So that was the way. But now with the rotational reffing, which I do like a lot more, means you can get a bit of water in and a bit of fuel on before you're, rather than kind of cooling while reffing. So I do think that's better. Another incredibly high standard day of football. Group A, I'm not sure. Well, we did kind of speak about it, how we had no idea what was going to happen in Group A, and it was carnage, basically.
Yep. Don't think any of us got it completely right, to be honest. I'm going by
no, none of us got it right. None of us got it right.
Practice squad coming out on top there was huge.
Yeah, 5 games, 4 wins, and a tie. Grangemouth Broncos were second. 3 wins, a loss, and a tie. The Smoke Grey, 3-2. Harry Malaya, 2-3. Rexy Bennett Runners, 2-3. And Hale Dairy had a pretty punishing day, 0-5. Negative 116 points.
Yeah, just looked at that. It's a long day.
It was a long day.
Especially travelling all that way. It is. Smoke Grey going on a run to the plate final. It was great to see. Obviously, it was quite a new group of people from what I gather. Eric, I believe his name was Eric.
Yeah,
definitely
Eric,
start with the
quarterback.
The American lad usually plays receiver, but got thrown into the mix as a quarterback for the Ironman format.
If he wants to stay there, he'll be fine.
Yeah, he looked great. He did not look at all uncomfortable, even in the final of the plate. So
they ran
massive shit.
They ran a 4th down play against us, and with like a handoff, and I have no idea how long I sat with him in the backfield, like running side to side, trying to contain him. Like, I know it's Iron Man, but thankfully it was 4th down, because I went off and I was like, Steve, you're in a receiver, mate. Like, I need a couple of plays to just stop breathing out my hip. But yeah, no, he threw some nice balls. They played well. They definitely improved throughout the day. And obviously, went on the run to that plate final and lost it effectively on the last play as well, didn't they? I think it was effectively the last play of the game.
Yeah, it was tight towards the end. I'm not sure it finished. There was only a point in it.
Not sure if it was a stop or I'm not sure who had the ball, but yeah, they made it all the way.
I'm pretty sure Flagging Ballsy converted on 4th down to get a 1st down to win it, I think, if I remember correctly.
Something like that, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think the biggest surprise out of that one, though, was practice squad coming top. Like, I honestly, hand on heart, did not see that at all. I knew Ash was going to be a quarterback. I knew they were going to be well drilled, but I also knew there was going to be a lot of contact players in there who, in previous other tournaments, have maybe misunderstood how flag is played, put it politely. But they were great. They were a lot of fun to watch. Andrew Cooper, they had Grant from Raptors playing. I can't remember his name. I believe his name was Grant. I think it is. Young kid from the Raptors who done phenomenally as well. He was actually coming up to me just before. I believe you played them last in the groups.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
He came up to me while I was watching, I think I was reffing actually, and was like, so tell me, what are Rexy's like? And I'm just like, what?
A band of rascals.
It's like, you ever seen Aberdeen play? Yes, there you go. You think how much that?
Yeah, for this particular tournament, they are entirely Aberdeen players. Yeah, no, that was good. Their last game, it was interesting. Like, when you have a team full of kitted players, it can go one of two ways, basically. Way number one is takes a long time to work out, and they're slow, and in that format they lose a lot of games because of it. Or it can go the other way. You look at James, your teammate James,
Mr. Lightbody.
from the Hornets, appeared, ran at a few sessions, came up to the Quake, saw competition and went, oh, right, okay, yeah, and adapted very well. The practice squad were option two. They came up, they have the skills, they have the
They had the fundamentals.
run the route, catch the ball, stay in the zone, make the tackle. They had all of that. Sounded like over the course of the day, they're kind of like, reminders to not hit anyone stuck, so that later in the day, they went on a run. And, like Andrew was giving me, because he was like, you said we wouldn't even make it out the groups. And I was like, yeah, but I only knew of 2 of your players out of the 7 available. So, they had a great day. And, hopefully the boys decide to stick with flag, because we're biased, but it's great. And they should do exactly that. So hopefully see them in and about the leagues again in the future, or even just at kind of bounce tournaments. I think as far as the advert for flag for them, I really hope that they enjoyed it. The other team in that group, which was kind of unusual for us, obviously, was Hiramao Malaya. Familiar faces at the core there. The big surprise that we were discussing last week obviously revealed itself as quarterback Vince Mackey, along with his pal Steve and Jesse at receivers, and obviously they playing both ways. Haven't played Vince since we played the button hookers in like the
that must have been the 2018 or 19 finals
playoffs. And have come up against the button hookers. A story I've told many times of my first ever tournament, like my second game was against them. Flag football ever was against the button hookers at the peak of their powers, which was exciting. But yeah, it's been a long time, and they also had set up camp just next door to us, so it was cool to kind of get the chat before and after as well. But yeah, really nice to see them back and like playing flag in the Florida leagues hasn't hurt Vince in the slightest. Big shock.
No, honestly, I was quite like with Steve and Jesse, who haven't really played much in the past.
You wouldn't know it though,
since the pandemic. Like the first game, I think they wobbled a little bit and they kind of looked at each other like, right, this is either going to go one or two ways, and then it just picked up from there. And it went
by
off.
By the time they got to us, I don't know what they had in their Weetabix before they played us. Like Jesus. We were under the pump immediately, but it was an absolute cracker. And obviously, like I had a kind of chat with some of the Malaysians that I travelled over, and they were just looking around, being like, "What's going on here?" And they were having a great time, and it was really good to chat to them and hear a bit about
promote the sport worldwide. Love to see it.
It was so good, and that's the thing. That's the thing about flag football, is that it literally only takes, you need like 6 pals, and you can get in and you can go to tournaments and you can meet anyone, like there was former GB Golds there was current GB Golds there over the weekend, there was superstars in the sport that have played all over the world. Like it's very cool. It's a very cool tournament, and obviously we've already got the dates in the diary for next year, and I've already can't wait to do it all over again. I know I'll be back. I know I'll have a spot. I know that I'll be running around in Technicolor. So it'll be
Rex's.
It's the one tournament you can always. It's the one tournament. There's the absolutely one tournament that you can always guarantee we'll have a presence at, as long as we're playing, as long as there's been no retirements from the sport, we'll still be there.
Well, I mean, you only need 7 of you. That'll be fine.
Exactly. You only need 7 folk.
Anyway, Group B, moving onwards.
Group B, CEX, United, Smoke Black, Renfrewshire Raptors, Utter Chaos, Edinburgh Outlaws, and the Baywatch. Raptors, coming in third, continued their assault on a record-breaking run of Tiny Hammers. It's actually very lucky that we didn't come third, because I got about 20 minutes down the 89 and realised that the gem was still in this cupboard. So it's very lucky we didn't play them, because had they, well, one, wouldn't have had it for the ceremony anyway, and also had they been victorious, I wouldn't have been able to hand it over in person. I would have had to entrusted it to the Royal Mail, which is much less
Risky
fun.
business.
So that's why fifth. That's why.
It's a big brain move. big
brain move.
I'm pretty sure I called CEX top of this one, and I definitely called Raptors third because I wanted them to go on the glory run of getting the plate again.
Yes.
Who did I have Smoke second?
We had a discussion about Edinburgh Smoke Raptors being, two of the three.
Yeah.
Two of those three would go through. It wasn't the Edinburgh Outlaws ones. It wasn't the team that we kind of wondered if it would be, that went on that amazing run through the National Flag Football League last year. So as it was, fifth in the group. Yeah, didn't see a huge amount of this because it was the group immediately after us. So
yeah,
we were back at the
trying to gain whatever breath you can back into your body. Yeah, I don't. In all honesty, I think I watched Baywatch Raptors because I've got friends in both teams and I wanted to see how they got on. But besides that, I didn't really pay much attention, if I'm totally honest. CEX looked good all day. Wedge he looked really good through the day. Obviously, when you've got 2 GB gold and 2, maybe 3 GB silvers in that squad, we done what they expect them to do, so happy with that. Got to referee their game against, I think it was their quarterfinal or their semi-final against Smoke. It was semi-final versus Smoke, which was good as well. And that was a really tight game. The CX had the ball, I think they were a point down. They would either a point or a score down. They had the ball ready to go for the go-ahead score to win. Unfortunately, couldn't come through with it. Yeah, another really tight game. It was like an offensive powerhouse versus a defensive powerhouse. It was really good to watch.
There was a couple throughout the day. I think because we were kind of parked by the door. I think they were on pitch one quite a lot. There was a couple of catches that George made, which I love watching. I love watching that man play. He just moves.
Yeah, he's dual but faster,
and he's in complete control of his body. He is someone else, and he looked like he was playing very well. Certainly throughout the early part of the day when I actually saw their matches.
Yeah, who I was really interested in was Ollie Dyer on offense. I play with him every game day last year, and never once have I really actually seen him play off. I think he's maybe come on as a really quick substitution if we'd had a deep ball or something, and I've never really paid attention to him on the pitch because I'm either on it with him or I've just run a fly and I'm going to go and pick a ball up from somewhere that Nicky's totally overthrown me.
Pew.
But yeah, there was some of the catches he was making was great. I love watching that. It's great watching my cornerback come in and rattle things up on offense.
Yeah, no, they were one of the very early favorites, kind of before we even started, and then obviously, once they got going, it was like, oh yeah, cool. Well, they are who we thought they were.
Yes.
Group C, your own group. Hornets came out top. Blackhawks, Bees, Prestige Worldwide, the first word in entertainment, the East Edinburgh Ducks, and the Grangemouth Stallions to round out. In a wildly competitive group. Below the 5-0. We then had a 4-1, and then we had 2-3, 2-3, 2-3.
Tell you what, Blackhawks didn't make it easy for us either. I don't really know what happened with us through the day. Obviously, we lost the game after the groups, but the Blackhawks came in, and that was a tight game. That was a lot tighter than we thought it was going to be. And I watched the footage back that Phil sent me over, and they were really good. They deserve a lot more credit than I was actually giving them at the time. James, who doesn't usually play quarterback, I know he's got an arm. I know has played previously, but he was great all day. They held us to 2 scores, considering the first 2 games we put up just under 80 points, and they held us to 2. That was phenomenal. It was great from them, and it was tough for them having to go up against the Smoke A team the following game. The Smoking 12-minute format is flawless.
One of the most one of the most difficult games
Yeah,
you can have.
Arley inside those 24 minutes is one of the most well-oiled machines that I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, but the group itself was we actually had a lot of fun. It was very much a HNC orientated group.
Yes, it was.
The started with the Prestige Worldwide, and I think everyone was a bit too tired to even. Obviously, the Prestige guys came down from Aberdeen, and most of the Glasgow were there early doors to try and help set up anyway. So we both were a bit heavy under the eyes, so to speak, at that point. But from there on, it was a great. I don't think there was any bad taste left in anybody's mouth through that. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. No
No,
complaints.
it did look really good, and I think I refereed Killer Bees Ducks in this game, and then in this one, and then also I must have had something else. I must have refereed something else in this game because I did a couple.
Don't recall you refereeing
But
me.
I didn't referee you guys. I can't remember, but yeah, it was very good, and it was Bees versus the Ducks was good. It was one of those that kind of came down pretty close to the end, and I think the Ducks got a pick kind of with about 3 minutes to go up a score,
Yeah,
and then knocked it in, and then 2 scores with like a
I
minute.
remember sauntering back. Obviously, we were sharing the seating area with the Bees, and sauntering back and was like, how'd it go? And there was a lot of disappointed faces coming back to the benches. But I think it was only a 1-score game, and it was the first game of the day, so it's a tough one to kind of figure yourself out, especially for a lot of the Killer Bees who, obviously, with their rotation system and their development system, not a lot of them get a lot of game time both sides of the ball. So for them to come in Iron Man format and try and work that out and only hold a team to 3 scores, then you know what? Fair enough. Good effort from them.
Yeah, it was 20 to 13 in the end, and there was also I wasn't refereeing the game. Was that the game? There's a young lad on the Bees. His name begins with R. Is it Reese?
You talking about Aiden?
But either way, maybe there was a young lad on that who Youngie chucked an absolute bomb to, and it was over the shoulder.
It would have been, I believe you're
Maybe
referring to Aiden.
Maybe
Yeah,
probably.
He's
my height, dark hair.
Yeah, Aiden.
Aiden.
He's a member of TS17. He got called upon by Young because, unfortunately, Hugh, who was going to be in for the Bees, broke his thumb at the last Winter League, going for an interception. So he got out, and they pulled Aiden in.
Yeah, well, yeah. Game recognized game, good sir. Because that was like that. It was one of those technically excellent catches. Like, obviously, it's a big show reel because it's over the top and you just score on the highlight. But the actual, like, it was very well done.
Yeah,
it wasn't like he kind of like got turned around and made a kind of made it more difficult for himself. He did it properly. It was very good to see from the TS17 gang.
There was, from the photos that Saskia took, there is, when they were playing the Blackhawks, I believe his name's Taylor, and I'm sorry if I get that wrong, but it was the tallest of the Blackhawks, and Aiden, there's a photo of Aiden about his head was over both of them jumping up for the ball, going for the bat away. It was great. Like he settled into that team really well. Like, obviously he's got chemistry with Young from him coaching him and stuff, but coming into a team where he's only really played with CJ before, from what I heard, he settled in really well.
There was quite a funny moment because obviously, like, as head ref, you're kind of like near the huddle, and I'm not sure what had just happened or what the discussion was as they were coming out, but I just heard Youngie go, yeah guys, today you're going to find out that player Young and coach Young are very different people. Like, I was just like, no comment, first down.
As someone that's been on the receiving end of that through his flag football career, I can confirm they are very different people. Yes.
It was very funny. Yeah, excellent self-awareness from coach. So yeah, that brings us on to Group D. Group D had a lot of intrigue kind of at the top. Flag and Ball Z came third. We knew they were going to send a fairly strong team as they were in the kind of Raptors bracket looking to make another run at the Tiny Hammers, the Crack Addicts and the London Smoke. Obviously that game everyone was kind of looking forward to in the group stage. We'd seen a lot of the kind of the Crack Addict squad over as the Wildcats last month, and we saw them again. And yeah, coming up against, as we said before, Smoke A, the well-oiled machine, championship winning 7. Yeah,
it's the. I spoke to the Irish. I keep referring to them as Irish, the Crack Addicts, sorry. Shortly after this, and I think they were a bit disappointed. They said that they started a bit slow. Some of them were just still a bit sluggish from the journey over and stuff. Obviously, Matt coming over from Germany. Smoke kept that quite comfortable. I think the scoreline's a bit flattering towards the Crack Addicts, to be honest, because Charlie finished with the ball in their half and just kind of let the clock run down. But the Addicts themselves, props to them, because I'm pretty sure they came over with 6. They didn't have 2 genders represented, so there was only 6 of them. And fairly early on in the day, one of their lads pulled his hamstring, I believe.
No.
And so they were going, not only were they playing Ironman football, they were going true Ironman, 5 people offense, 5 people defense. And that was from about the middle of the group bracket. So that is a long day.
Long day.
There was a lot of tired bodies going home on the Sunday then.
Yeah. Hope. Yeah. Need more. Don't know how much legroom you had, but it wasn't enough.
Even for that 30-minute flight back over to Dublin, that's still not enough.
Not enough.
But yeah, they sailed through the groups after that. They were pretty gutted not to beat the Smoke. They wanted to kind of come out and make a bit of a statement piece, and then went on the run after that. They didn't lose a game after that, obviously. And Flag and Ball Z were there was a lot of tight games. The games over the Mustangs was a last-minute interception by Matt Burke, and then Alan Mead threw a beautiful pass
dot,
for Ben Slade. I'm pretty sure it was Kaz, and it might have been Jason as well. It was double covers, essentially, and it just weaved its way between 2 of them. Ben jumped up, caught it, sideline. The Matt was actually taking a lot of footage with someone that was on the sideline, Megan, who was up watching him. And he was mic'd up and everything. It was a very professional setup.
Was it really?
So there's some really good footage of that going about. They've shared quite a lot of it, both Ben and Matt, and I'm pretty sure it's on the Flag and Ball Z page as well. Yeah, well done to them. It was a really different. I think from one of the 3 games, the point difference, whatever it is, was 9. Fair play to them.
Yeah, it was. It was tight for them. Yeah, one point. How did they get on? So yeah, 19-7. Yeah, 32-26. That cinematic end game. The Crack Addicts was a bit of a punch. They beat the Gunslingers well. Smoke had them by 10. Killer Bees 1-score game in the plate semi, and then the plate final was the 1 point kneel down to. Was it a kneel down? I think when did they cross halfway to win? I think we said that.
I'm pretty sure it was. I'm not 100% sure. I was trying to record.
We'll be corrected. Regardless, we'll be corrected if we're wrong. So yeah, that then took us on to the knockout. So in the plate bracket, it got pretty interesting. The plate bracket was just the 4 teams. The London Smoke Grey beat the Raptors. 19th Flag and Ball Z beat the Killer Bees. 14-7, and then that 1-score game, Flag and Ball Z 13 to London Smoke Grey. So they went back-to-back winners in the plate bracket.
Was the Smoke B team essentially, and the Raptors not a final a couple of years ago? I'm pretty sure it was.
Oh, I would need to check the archives deeply.
I think it was. Might be wrong, might not be, but yeah, I'm quite glad I missed that game. We caught up with Ross and laughed at it, but he had a fun day as well. But yeah, I didn't even catch the Flag and Ball Z Killer Bees game either, unfortunately. But the final was a great watch. The sidelines it was only really people that were either local, still playing, or staying the night, and it was actually quite a good crowd around, even for the plate final, which doesn't usually happen. So
yeah.
The other 2 pitches were taken away, and we were left with pitch 1 over towards. Yeah. And yeah, great way to end the day for Flag and Ball Z. So congratulations to those boys.
Makes the trip home a wee bit easier. In the championship bracket, we had the quarterfinals of the practice squad, 19-13 winners over the Smoke Black. Quarterfinal 2, the Glasgow Hornets 14, Crack Addicts 18. Quarterfinal 3, CEX 20-6 winners over the Broncos, and the London Smoke 26-13 over the Blackhawks.
Tell you what, our
Anything
game
you want to
was,
say about your quarterfinal?
It was like, don't get me wrong, I don't like losing. Nobody likes losing, but that was a lot of fun. The game was in great spirits. Like, Matt and Finn are excellent. Jamie as well. Like, through the game, we were still, didn't matter if we were up or if they were up, we were all still having a laugh. They found out that you cannot shout at people while they're trying to catch the ball to put them off. Touchdown, and Finn was shouting something in my ear, and Parents got a first down, and he got something shouted in his ear. And we were just like, "What are you guys doing, man? Like, if you're going to do it, just do it quietly so the refs don't hear you." But it was a fun game. Absolutely no qualms with it whatsoever, and they beat us pretty well.
Yeah, it seemed like a close game.
Some Hornets will argue that it was ended with a bit of a bitter taste in their mouth, but do you know what? I had fun at the end of the day, and they played it very, very well. So no issues coming from me there.
So yeah, were they 3 scores or 2 with 2?
We had the ball to finish. Went for a fourth down. Probably should have got a contact on the QB penalty. We wasted about a minute and a half arguing with referees. Killed the clock.
Never. That's never.
It was a bit of a messy finish, but it is what it is. That's football, you know.
You saw some of the wiser teams, in close games when they were up without the ball, having conversations with referees to keep it going, much to the chagrin of the offense.
Yes, but you know, like honestly, like I said it at the post I put up on Instagram, I had a lot of fun in that game. I shook hands with them after. I was supporting them in the final, so yeah, fair play to the boys.
Yeah, nice one. And they would go on to see. They would go on to see the practice squad, getting past them 19-12, while the Smoke got by CX by an extra point.
I missed I really wanted to see the Crack Addicts semi-final, but unfortunately I was refereeing the other one, which was it was a fun game. Smoke B were refereeing our game against Crack Addicts, and there was a brief moment in the game where Charlie Williams shouted to me, "It wasn't this Smoke that was refereeing your game, so stop butchering our game," which I didn't feel like I was doing anything wrong.
That's funny. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, it was like the CEX had the ball to finish, and they had a fair amount of time on the clock from what I remember, but they just couldn't get it, unfortunately. But Smoke, being well drilled as they are, it was a really good game to watch.
There was a
Not
moment.
watch referee. I wasn't watching. I was refereeing.
There was a moment earlier in the day. I think I was refereeing the Ducks Killer Bees game. I had my back to the big screen, to HQ as it were. I look over to my left and I can just see Charlie kind of crouched a wee bit, just like level with me, like clearly just waiting for me to look at him, like stalking me up the sideline. And I'm kind of like, I was like, okay, guys, third down. I'm like, what is he doing? What is he doing? And I look back over, right, and he does the full-on like cross arm shirt off thing with his jumper, and underneath it there is the way we HNC it, like white sleeveless vest, and I lost it laughing because like I don't know what I thought.
Charlie watches the podcast or listens to the podcast.
Big fan,
love it.
I don't know what I expected to be there when he took his top off. I didn't, but like, I was howling. Yeah, so I caught up with him afterwards, so it was nice. Yeah, it was nice to see nice to see them, and obviously see what they can do. Kind of a different roster to the kind of the ones that we've seen before come up to Iron Man. Adding in Mara is just not fair.
It was good. You turn up and you see that Jack's not there, Jam's not there, Nick Frost isn't there, Henry isn't there, and you're like, okay.
There's still Johnny and James though.
Still, yeah, of course. Like Johnny to lead the defense and Charlie to lead the offense. Nothing to be sniffed at. But you look at that squad from the outside and you're like, okay, there's a chance here.
Fools.
Even with Charlie's favourite format, there's a chance here.
Fools. I had a good chat with when we were playing the Smoke Grey in our group game. We were kind of on the sideline and stuff, and the rest of the Smoke guys were over kind of cheering them on and stuff. And I got chatting to James, who is their starting centre, James Bowser.
Yes.
I don't know if a lot of people know this. James is from Guernsey and was
Yes,
part
yes.
of the Gladiators team that came to the Quake a few years ago. So he gave me a bit of gossip, and it is not my story to tell. It is not my news to break, but something is going to happen, and I'm going to be very excited about it. So, flag football community, keep your eyes scanned, because when it happens, you will know. Okay, so we'll leave
Okay.
it. We'll
Intrigued.
leave it there for now. But when it happens, you will know. Yeah, and then we've kind of discussed the final kind of a wee bit already as a rematch of the group game. Smoke took control of this one early.
Fairly comfortably. Yeah.
Score 2 scores up. Difficult to deal with, but Matty did throw a lovely ball to get them on the board kind of late in the game. But I think by that point it was
They'd ran that play. It was too little, too late. But they'd ran that play a couple of times, and Finn was just a step too short. I've got a video of him totally airing out for the ball, and it just flops in front of him. Sadly, as I said earlier, they were running with 5 guys, offense and defense, for the best part of probably, let's say, at least 5, maybe 6 hours at that point.
yeah, okay.
They were done. They done really, really well to get as far as they went, and they said that they loved it. They had a great time. So I won't be surprised if they come back again next year. But yeah, always happy to have them over. They're a great group. They're so much fun.
Yeah, for sure, and I'm sure we'll see them again. See them again soon. So yeah, Blood and Smoke, Ironman champions once again. Crack Addicts runners up. We had the practice squad and CEX as our third place teams, and our plate winners were Flag and Ball Z, and that sets us up for Ironman 2026. We love Flag, and you all have a lot of explaining to do because next year Flying Ironman is back on the 14th of February, also known as the hallmark holiday of Valentine's Day. So some of you might have some explaining to do, but if you are either good at explaining or that you don't, we will see you once again for another fantastic tournament in 12 months' time.
Anyone needs tips on a romantic weekend away in Glasgow, give me a shout. I can I can help you out. You don't need to tell your other half that you're coming to Glasgow to play Flag. You just need to tell them that you're coming to Glasgow for the weekend, and we'll work out the rest. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you might then have to explain why you're disappearing for 14 hours, but yeah. But other than that, we'll work it out. And actually, Glasgow is one of the few places this weekend where there will not be any football in the WFFL because the East Kilbride Pirates will be going on the road. But yes, finally reached us. We're finally upon it. The race to Ravenscraig is about to conclude. The 22nd of March. We will see you live and loud broadcasting the finals once again from Ravenscraig with our partners Comhara. And the more I see what the team over there are looking to do in terms of the broadcast, the more hyped I get, the more excited I get. I'm going to keep this tease running for maybe a couple more weeks. So you're going to have to keep on coming back and listening in once more, dear listeners. But
he's not even told me what I'm doing yet,
all
guys.
all I'm saying
you guys
is
have no chance.
all I'm saying once, it's it looks good, but you still need to have the final confirmed call on what we're going to do and what we can share in advance and what's going to be kept as a surprise. And after that, trust me, it'll be very public.
Looking forward to it. It's exciting.
I'm very excited. But before we get there, we have to do week 5.
Week 5.
4 locations. 3 HNC playoff spots on the line. 2 MSC playoff spots on the line. 1 great weekend of football. Let's go. That is your countdown into WFFL week 5. So on Saturday, the London Flame are going to host a pivotal game day at Brunel University, while the Leeds Samurai at Moor End Academy in Leeds will host the larger part of the HNC. So those scores will come in, those matches will conclude, and it will set up the Sunday game days, where at Nuneaton Academy, the Coventry Cougars will host the vast majority of the MSC, and the Aberdeen Snowcats will have their first ever hosting duties up in Aberdeen, and they will know exactly what they will have to do and if it is still possible for them to make the playoffs. So this is going to be, a lot of things are going to happen fast, but because it's over the whole weekend and both conferences have games on both days, it's going to be a bit of
Sunday night is going to be chaotic for us, isn't it?
Sunday night is going to be chaotic, and yes, we will need to kind of work out a little bit on how we're going to share that with you. The official chart show will happen on Monday or potentially Tuesday. We are obviously going to make sure that we have crossed the I's and dotted the T's to make sure that you all have exactly what you need. So we're not going to release the official standings until we know for sure and we have confirmation from the league, and then we'll be shouting it from the rooftops. And we're going to do exactly the same thing with Inside Britball. So at some point at the conclusion of the weekend, there's going to be an absolute media blitz. We maybe even do a countdown or something like that. But yeah, it's going to be very exciting, and you will know that when you see the standings that we put out, you can trust them because they are coming straight from the organising committee. But first,
tell me, Bez.
What do the teams have to do? Cammy, we're going to start in the HNC because...
We're going to start north, okay.
We're starting the HNC because the best scenario is...
is this the
best
mammoth
scenario
one?
could be the last game on Sunday night in the south. So it will be, and because of the timings of the kickoffs in both Aberdeen and at Nuneaton with Coventry, it will be the actual last game of the season as well.
So let me just get this clear. So we've got both HNC and MSC game days on both Saturday and Sunday. Oh,
yes. So Flame and Leeds are hosting on February, and Coventry and Aberdeen on Saturday. Sorry, February the 22nd, and Sunday, February the 23rd. You'll have Coventry and Aberdeen hosting. So in the HNC, East Kilbride Pirates are in. They're the 1 seed. There's nothing anyone can do about it. They could, as long as they don't forfeit the 2 games, they are the number 1 seed in the north. So they have to show up, but in terms of playoff seeding, result doesn't matter.
Beautiful.
To them. Still with a shout of the remaining 3 playoff spots are the Manchester Titans, the Sheffield Giants, the Leeds Samurai, the Aberdeen Snowcats, and the Huskies. So the Huskies are all the way down at 2 and 6, and there is a way. Unfortunately, but only because they've got 4 games to go. Unfortunately, the Titans Bees, who are 3 and 7, they just don't have enough games left in order to make enough of a dent to make it. So the Huskies are currently below the Bees, but they're still in, and the Bees are unfortunately out. Okay, so the Titans have spent most of the season on the outside looking in, but their game day 4 was superb. So they win 1 game, they hold the 2nd seed because Sheffield cannot pass them on the head-to-head. If they go 0-2, they can be knocked out. A bunch of other things have to happen, but they can be knocked out. Sheffield Giants can still reach 2nd if they beat the Titans record outright, because if they're tied, obviously the Giants will be below them.
Head.
Giants are exactly the same. If they go 0-2, there's a chance that they can miss out. The Samurai have the best kind of chance of upsetting the apple cart because they can be 5th, even 6th, I think, or they can be 2nd because they've got 4 games on the final day. So the Samurai, if they go 4-0, they're in, right? They go 4-0, they are the 2nd seed. Nothing anyone else.
No questions asked.
No questions asked. 4-0, 2nd seed. If they go 3-1, it depends on who they lose to. So if they go,
you've gone deep here, haven't you?
So they have to play the Titans, the Giants, the Titans Bees, and the Huskies, right? So if they lose to the Titans, they'll be the 3rd seed. So 3-1, but the losses to the Titans, they'll be the 3 seed. 3-1, but the losses to the Giants, they'll be the 3 seed. 3-1, but the losses to the Bees or the Huskies, they'll be the 2nd seed. At 2, because they'll have the head-to-heads over the other 2 teams, right? So at 2-2, they're the 4 seed. If they go 1-3, and the Snowcats lose both, they'll be the 4 seed. And if they go 0-4, they're done. Okay?
Good luck, Leeds. There's a lot of possibilities there.
So the Snowcats could wake up in the morning knowing that knowing what they have to do or knowing that they're already out.
Yeah.
Okay? So the Huskies, because they'll be there on the game day, if the Huskies go and the Samurai go 0-4 and the Snowcats go 0-2, the Huskies are in. Right?
Right. Kind of following.
If the Huskies go 0-4 and the Samurai go 3-1, with their one game being the loss to the Huskies have to win that by 26 to get the head-to-head tiebreaker, plus the Snowcats go 0-2, the Huskies are in.
Jesus, right. I'm still new to this podcasting thing, right? And you're throwing me under the bus with this. Jesus, man. Right, okay.
So
I'm somewhat keeping up.
Right. So the Huskies have a tough day. So they've got the Titans, the Giants, the Bees, and the Samurai. So they have a very, very tough day. And it's unlikely, but the maths are the maths. They are not done. And that leaves us Aberdeen. So Aberdeen will wake up in the morning. So if the Samurai have gone 0-4, basically doesn't matter then.
And
Snowcats are in 0-2 plus Samurai 0-4. Aberdeen are
jobs are good.
Aberdeen go 1-1. Then the Samurai plus the Samurai go 1-3 or worse. 4th seed, we're in. Aberdeen go 2-0, bearing in mind that one of them is against the undefeated East Kilbride Pirates Black.
Yes.
If they were to somehow turn them over and get the red, then the Samurai going 2-2 or worse, 4 seed. Because Aberdeen and Leeds only played one game because of the cancellations, which means Aberdeen have that head-to-head tiebreaker because Leeds never have the chance to get it back. So Aberdeen, that shock upset is still having the ramifications now.
I tell you what, if it comes down to that, I know there's going to be a lot of unhappy people.
There'll be some discussions. Will be some discussions on Instagram, put it that way.
Yep.
So if you've got to this point and you're like, Bez, come on, man, like, we're going to have to be listening to this back on the sidelines. Don't worry. There's a blog. It will be posted. It's all written out for you. You can check it. What Andy and I will say very much is, like, this is non-exhaustive. There are probably scenarios out there, particularly ones to do with if teams head-to-heads end up going down to net points per game and stuff. We haven't really considered them, and I'm sure there's a lot of stuff where, like, if somebody scores the game-winning touchdown in the 7th phase of a waxing gibbous moon, then that's a tiebreaker. Like, I'm sure there's all the daft ones, right? If the elves of Rivendell have called a council, then maybe. But I don't know. But these ones are the kind of the easier ones. We'll work it all out once we see the spreadsheet. So the MSC is. You think that was fun, Cammy?
Yeah, you're until last, aren't you?
You think that was fun?
Hit me with it.
My sweet summer child. Okay, so in the MSC, Coventry, week 1, ever since, the pair of them, since week 1, they are combined 23-1. Right?
Impressive.
They are both in. They are safe. Neither of them can finish worse than the 2nd seed. Okay, so...
Well, that's convenient.
Which is convenient, right? So we know they're in their own little group. There's 2 playoff spots left, and there's 4 teams that can get them. The Leicester Huntsmen, the London Amazons, the London Flame, and the Birmingham Lions are still in it, right? Lions are still in it, right? So, on day 1, on Saturday, the Huntsmen, the Amazons, and the Flame are in a round robin with each other. Their only games are against each other. Those 3 teams will play 2 games each in a round robin. They are currently the 3 seed, the 4 seed, and the 5 seed.
Well, that's tasty.
So, at the very, very top, the Coventry Panthers, they are walked into the 2 seed. They will clinch the number 1 overall seed with a 4-0 record, or a 3-1 record If that they do play the Cougars. So if the loss is to the Cougars, the Panthers will retain the head-to-head with a loss of 17 points or less. If the loss is to any other team, it doesn't matter. 3-1, they'll still hold the head-to-head because they'll have beaten the Cougars twice.
Okay.
Or they can have the 1 seed if they go 2-2, but one of those wins is against the Cougars. So they've got a lot of different ways to do it. They are in control of the number 1 seed as it stands. The Coventry Cougars cannot finish worse than second. They can claim the 1 seed with a 4-0 record if they beat the Panthers by 19, or the Panthers lose another game. If they go 3-1, but the win is over the Panthers by 19, and the Panthers lose one or more other games, then they'll also claim it. There's a whole bunch of scenarios between these two teams, which is where we're going later on, where if the Cougars win by exactly 18 points.
Right.
We're going to circle back because it gets important later on. Okay, that's a day 2 problem. Okay, now we're into day 1 problems. The Leicester Huntsmen. They can clinch a playoff berth effectively with a tie, but we're saying guarantee it with a win, right?
Yes.
They will lock up the 3 seed with a 2-0 record. They can secure the 4th seed by going 1-1. If they go 0-2, they run the risk of elimination. The London Amazons can take the 3rd seed if they go 2-0. They can secure the 4th seed by going 1-1. Plus, the Flame and the Huntsmen also go 1-1. Plus, the Lions go 3-1 or worse the day after. So
okay.
the London Flame can clinch the 4 seed if they go 2-0 and the Amazons go 0-2. Or if they go 2-0, beat the Huntsmen by 8, and the Lions go 3-1 or worse.
Jesus, right, okay. Oh my goodness.
So the tiebreakers you have to kind of be aware of at the moment are the Amazons are 12 points up on the Flame. The Amazons are 12 points up on, or 1 point up on the Huntsmen, and the Huntsmen are 7 points up on the Flame. If those 3 teams tie on record, or 2 of the 3 are tied on record, if that tie contains the Amazons will be ranked lower than whoever they're tied with because they have a forfeiture on their record from week 1.
Okay.
And that is tiebreaker 1. So basically it goes win percentage, forfeitures, head-to-head.
Yeah.
Net points per game. Right? So they need to be clear of a rival in order to have a shot. So that means the Birmingham Lions are going to wake up in the morning knowing, with 4 games to play, what they have to do to have a chance. So the Lions can reach as high as 3 if they go 4-0.
Why is it all so close, Bez?
Right? The Flame go 2-0 and the Huntsmen go 0-2. They can get the 4 seed if they go 4-0 and the Huntsmen go 2.
Right. You've lost me somewhere, but I'm following along.
So here's the key. So the Flames, the Flame, the Huntsmen, and the Amazons all play each other in a round robin, right? So that's easy. You're probably thinking like, oh, the Lions 4-0, that's hard.
The tough one.
It is a tough one. The Lions play the Spears, the Gold, and the Green, who you would expect them to win those games.
Yes, we would.
They then play, on the final game of the season, the Coventry Panthers.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Who may have nothing to play for, because they can already have the 1 seed locked up by that point.
Oh.
However, what if there was a situation where the Cougars beat the Panthers by 18? They are now tied on record, tied on head-to-head, and tied on aggregate, which means the tiebreaker between them now goes to net points per game. Going into that, those 2 teams are currently separated by 3.1 net points per game. Panthers and the Lions play the final game of the entire regular season. So they wake up, they know they have a shout. They are 3-0 going into that final game. The Cougars and the Panthers know that it all comes down to net points per game straight up. Those two Coventry teams are also playing the gold and the green. So that those games, I assume, just become total bloodbaths, as the Coventry teams are now trying to beat each other without playing each other. So the final game of the season has the Birmingham with the playoff spot on the line in their first season back, and it determines the number 1 seed in the MSC.
Jesus, right. Okay.
Now, that is a long shot, right? I fully understand that's a long shot, but
we love it though, don't we? But we want it.
As I was working that out, I was just like, it fits. Like the timeline works because there's 2 days, so they would know. The thing is, they would know.
Yeah, we're just going to watch the dominoes fall into place on Saturday.
Everyone at the game day would be aware of it, which is like the big thing, because it's not, previously, years gone by, you wouldn't have really known until kind of the emails came out a couple of days later how close it had been. But like now, you would know. You will know. And the thing to remember with the net points per game stuff is you can't just use simple points difference, because the Panthers had a game against them forfeited earlier in the season, so they've got one less game. So they're dividing by... Wait, what are they dividing by? They're dividing by one less than Coventry are. So, yeah, it's going to be great. I can't wait to see all the scores come in. Like, very, very sincerely, the best of luck to everyone involved. Like, making the playoffs... we've both been on teams that we're very lucky that we've made the playoffs a lot, but it never ceases to be very cool to have made it. And there's
teams... such an experience as well. Like, it's just a great day, We're very blessed that women's flag football is up here again. Return to Ravens Pigs.
And there's teams on the Huntsmen. The Huntsmen haven't made it. The Lions haven't made it. A lot of the Flame players are new and won't have made it. The Amazons have been there the last few years. We've commentated on and covered them a lot, so they have the knowledge of what it takes. In the HNC, it's likely that it will be the 4 we would have picked at the beginning of the season. The Pirates, the Titans, the Giants, and the Samurai in some order. But we've got 2 teams on debut that are not out of it on the final day of the season, in the Snowcats and the Huskies.
I love to see, though, it's new teams coming in and actually contesting for this is great football. It's what we want to see.
Yeah, for sure. And it points to the fantastic growth that we're seeing, kind of particularly in the women's game, but across all levels of flag. So,
so imagine Snowcats get in, Flame gets in, Leicester gets in, and Birmingham gets in. That's 4 new teams into finals format. Getting all them. If I put that on Bet365 just now, I don't want to know what my odds are. But
the degenerates of our listeners they know exactly who they are. You know who you are. You know who you are, Elliot. So yeah, it's going to be well. It's going to be a great weekend. Very much looking forward to seeing the results come in, sharing them kind of as rapidly as we can get them out, and doing some maths.
I'll leave that to you, mate. I'll just sit back.
Don't worry. I'll do the maths, and we'll keep everyone up to date. But yeah, that blog will be out probably by the time the show airs, and we'll have a lot of follow-up content over the rest of the week. Over the weekend, we're going to hopefully have roving reporters in every game day, keeping us up to date, and we'll do our best to share the scores as they happen.
Scores on the doors.
Open the Mega XL. Bash them in. And see which of the... I'm excited to see the scenario happen that we didn't catch. There's always one. Where we go
it'll be the most obscure thing ever. It will...
Yeah, there's something that'll guess. But that's it.
That's the way we hate you.
That's it. That's the WFFL. It's one final dance, and then we'll know where we're going for the last day, and I can't believe that it's,
Remind us, Bez, when is
finals is March the 22nd at Ravenscraig. The first in Motherwell, the first kickoff, I believe, for the quarter-final round is going to be 12:15. So lunchtime, and yeah, it'll be quarterfinals followed by, I guess, plate semis, championship semis, plate final / third, fourth playoff / national championship game standalone. About tea time, I think, about 5:00. So,
Dang, I'm so used to finals being a stupidly long affair
yeah,
for us.
well, there's less teams.
Less teams, and we also aren't sharing it with youth as well.
So we'll add that also, yes. But even compared to the WFFL last year, I think it's less.
Was it
less teams or different? Or well, it's a very different format because there's no buys or anything this year. So, maybe the same number of teams, but just a different way of doing it. Can't remember. But yeah, that's that. I don't have any other news other than Celtic Bowl is almost sold out. So
2 spots
a
left?
couple of spots left available for AFI teams. The next round of potentially international releases will open up in March. So if there are any spots left and you are a team willing to travel to Dublin at the end of April, then we can. We'll share how to do it when it is ready for you to do so. And I think there's a couple of spots left on the women's bracket as well. So if you're looking to get a kind of post WFFL trip in, then that could be one for your agenda.
Yeah, I was speaking to Matt and Finn. I know I've probably mentioned them about a dozen times already on this podcast. They were talking a lot about the facility and how good it was. So I'm personally going over, and I can't wait. It's a new tournament. It's a new venue. It's going to be a lot of fun. Plus, a weekend in Dublin. Never going to shy away from that, So.
No, can't shy away from that one. So yes, we'll stay tuned for more news and coverage of that once we get there and throughout the build-up. But I think we will leave it there. It's been a lot of maths tonight, and
yeah, my brain's fried.
My brain's fried too. So thank you everyone for sticking with us. We will catch you again next week once we know all of the answers to the sums. And we hope you have a great week and a great weekend, especially if you are at any of those game days. Do keep in touch. And yes, can't wait. So it is good night from Cammy.
Good night.
And it is good night from me. Thank you very much for listening. That is the way we HN see it.